Hello everyone! Before we go any further, there will be a comment down below in the comments section which will have a timestamp in it where you can click on to be jumped ahead to where we don't talk about why it's been 3 years since I last recorded Grim Dawn and some of the differences that there are in the game, and instead you'll be able to see Diana run around and begin killing things. Because it's been a while since I last recorded. Holy crap. So, there's no way around it. I first have to say what happened. Because there's probably at least one person who was following this playlist and was probably upset when it stopped. So, you ever get like 3 messages on your cell phone? And you're like, oh, I just don't want to call these people back. I'm busy. I'm eating, or I'm doing something. I'll give them a call back later. And you forget to call them back later. And then when you remember, like, oh, I should call those people back. Look at your phone, and now there's like 8 messages on it. You're like, oh man, I gotta listen to all those messages, and I don't really want to listen to those messages. There's a lot of them. There's 8 messages. And you know, a lot of them are telemarketers. You can probably just open them up and just delete them, but you still don't do it. And then like a month has passed, and now you've got like 30 messages, and so you start sending text messages to people who are calling you. You're like, can you text me instead, because there's something wrong with my answering machine or something. You lie. you lie to save face. And so before you know it, like 4 months have passed, and you have like 100-something messages on your answering machine. You haven't checked any of them, and you realize it's pointless. So you get a new phone with a new number. You text all your friends and you say, "Text, this is my new number," and then you're better at it, and then you start checking your phone. That's what happened with me with Grim Dawn. I meant to record it again, but then other games, I began playing other games, and I didn't play Grim Dawn. And the longer that I began to not play Grim Dawn, the more guilt I felt about not playing Grim Dawn. But I felt like maybe everyone would also forget. And I think everyone did. now I'm back to play more Grim Dawn. This is apparently going to be a year of where I try to pick up playlists that I had stopped and maybe finished them. Now, it's been a while since I recorded Grim Dawn. If I didn't mention it already, it's been, I think, 3 years, 2 months, and like 6 days since I last recorded the game. When we were last recording it, Ashes of Mammoth was the new DLC that had just been released. Ashes of Mammoth is now old, and Forgotten Gods was the new content, the new DLC that was released. Forgotten Gods was released, I think, a year ago or so, if I recall correctly. There's been several large content pushes, or patches, since I last recorded the game as well, and I can't even begin to tell you what all the changes were. I remember in the past, I think I had printed out things and was reading them on screen as I ran around so you guys would know what the differences were. Whew. Wow. It would be pointless for me to try at this point. There's too many. There's way too many changes between when I last recorded the game and at this point. I also have a confession to make. Look over there on the right-hand side of the screen, and you can see the character levels for all my different characters in the game. I had promised you guys that I would wait to do the content of Ashes of Mammoth with you together when we recorded Diana Toil. In other words, the first time I would do something in that DLC would be when I was recording it here with Diana. That is totally not what happened. Oh, I'm laughing, but I feel so guilty. So what actually had happened, everyone, is you see Alicia Cray and Baindon Faerun here and Galvin Almir. Actually, let's just summarize it. See all these characters? Almost all of them ended up being level 75. The reason they're not currently, or 73 or so, high mid-70s, they had almost all beaten the normal campaign, and several of them were ready to start Elite. Except Diana Toil. She remained level 54. Or 53. I have beaten Ashes of Malmouth, I have beaten Forgotten Gods, and I have seen a good amount of content that now exists in the newest patch, which was released like last week or so. However, the characters' levels over here are now lower level because I lost about 300 to 450 hours worth of playing the game content because my computer died and the hard disks went and took the character save slots with them. I did not have Steam Cloud saves enabled for Grim Dawn, and so I was thankfully able to still get the save slots from the other computer, which was where I last recorded this game from, and bring them over here to this new computer, which is where I was replaying the game for the past 2.5 years or so, 2 years, and or year and a half. And so the good news is we can pick up where we left off with Diana. The bad news is I have to do a lot more work if I want to play the game with all my other characters. But you guys don't care about that. In fact, you guys probably didn't care about anybody I talked to, which meant that you clicked that link, which brought you here. And now we're gonna leap into the game. We're gonna look at what Diana Toyle's equipment currently is. We'll look at her stats, her trees, her skill trees, talent trees, and her devotions, and then we will be off. Let's get started, shall we? I'm glad they kept her in. She has such a magnificent skull there. For a while, the only image that got loaded was the guy with the sword and shield in the desert. And people were like, I miss the girl with the really big skull. Alright, here we are. Holy crap, back in Devil's Crossing. Alright, so let's first look at all of her equipment while I talk about some other miscellaneous things. So, my channel has grown, I think, in twice the size since the last time I had recorded this game. Way back when, in 2017, I had... Oh, maybe it was only 2 years. 2 years, 6 months since I last recorded the game. Yeah, I think it's been 2 years, not 3 years since I last recorded the game. And again, that's still a long time. In any case, I had, I think, 500 or 600 subscribers or so. And now I'm up to 1,000. That's amazing. Thank you guys very much. I don't want to talk about that too much, but I just want to say that it wouldn't surprise me if probably some people who are going to watch this for the first time don't even realize that I have a playlist of Diana Toyle. Now this playlist is going to be, from now on, is going to be a little different. I have a better microphone than what I was using back then. My computer is a lot more powerful than what it had been back then as well. And I plan to record an hour's worth of content now, not 30 minutes, because my hard disks are now larger in size, and it's a solid state, so I should have significantly less trouble recording as well compared to what used to happen with Grim Dawn. In the past, when I would record Grim Dawn, there would be instances where the game's audio and the video did not match up, so I would have to keep the videos to 30 minutes or less. I'm not anticipating having that problem any longer, though. So here's Diana. That's all. That's what she has for her Arcanist stats. Now, if you don't remember Diana, she's a bit interesting for me to use. Unlike all my other characters in Grim Dawn, she runs away from everything. She basically aggroes a bunch of stuff, then runs backward, runs away to as far as she's able to while dropping everything behind her. It's pretty funny and very effective. And oh wow, okay, her talents need a little, her devotions need a little cleaning. So I'm going to quickly go and respec 2 devotion points that she has. I can see I can respec, and then we'll go ahead and right, the respec girl whose name I forget. She was killed when the ethereal forces attacked Devil's Crossing. Alright, well, let's head back to the witches then. Was it Barrowholm? Barrowholm. It is Barrowholm. Okay. So let's go back to the Coven's Refuge. So, what else can we talk about while we're running around? You better think of things to talk about, Tim, because you made it seem like you have a lot to talk about. So, alright, well, let's do this first. So something I've I began doing over the past 2 years was actually sitting down and planning my Grim Dawn characters out. And I've realized that I've been making several mistakes while playing Diana. In particular, I have been kind of wishy-washy on her devotions, and you really should not do that. So something I discovered is that when you take... Oh, make sure I explain devotions? Have you not seen Grim Dawn before? Maybe you haven't seen Grim Dawn. Maybe I should describe what this game is really quickly. So, Grim Dawn is an action role-playing game similar to Diablo 2, or Diablo 3, I suppose. I've only played Diablo 3 for 10 minutes. I won't talk about it more than that. I'm not a fan of Diablo 3. In any case, you have these talent trees. When you level up between levels 1 and, I think, 50, you get 3 points to spend. Points are placed either into one of your skill tree, your mastery bars, which increases your stats. For example, if we were to take a point and put it into Arcanist, then Diana would gain an extra 2 points of physique, 3 points of cunning, 5 points of spirit, and the extra health and energy that you see. The level 33 isn't an extra 63 physique, it's just the total that you would earn by putting 1 more point into this. At level, I think, 10 or 9, maybe 11, you're able to take a second skill tree altogether. You're able to dual class in this game. Actually, if I mentioned this game is a lot like Titan Quest, in fact, made by, as far as I'm aware, the same people who made Titan Quest, Crate Entertainment, that might be helpful to you as well. Out in the world, there are these shrines called devotion shrines. You can either put an item in them, depending upon the type of shrine, to restore it, in which case it does loot pinata and gives you a devotion point, or click on it, defeat a bunch of creatures that will show up to defend it, cleanse it that way, and then you also get a devotion point. Devotion points are spent into your, well, devotions. These generally give you flat resistances, stats, damage boosts, and some of the constellations will give you an active ability, which you link to an ability of a certain type. For example, here, this is Tsunami, sorry, and I've put it on Wind Devil. Now, to take a skill, you'll notice that this one's grayed out. I must have 1 point, for example, to take Tortoise, I must have 1 point in the gold sphere order. I must have 1 point in order to take this. To take, for example, Revenant, I need 8 points in Chaos. In this case, Tsunami required me having 1 point to take it, and upon completion, gives me 5 points. Something I realize is that because this gives me 5 points, if I am perfectly fine never dropping Tsunami, I can reclaim the point I used to get this unlocked, and now spend that in other places, because Tsunami's giving me 5 points and I've completed it. It's locked in. Of course, if I want to undo Tsunami, I'll have to take all these points out, but I'd also have to put 1 more point into Crossroads again. Anyway, I'm beginning to babble. So, I'm going to take away at least that point. And I don't know if I even want Raven. No, I don't. I don't have a pet. Oh, I do have a pet. I have my... No, never mind, I do. I have 2 pets. Alright, that's right. Okay, so I want that. Okay, so that gives me 1 more devotion point to spend on something. And it looks like I was busy working towards Amatok, the Spirit of Winter. How's my cold resistances? Perfectly fine. I'm actually 29% over maximum for it, so I don't need that point. We'll take extra cold and frostburn damage. What else has happened since we last talked, everyone? I don't know if this was in the game for Ashes of Mammoth. I don't think it was. Maybe it was? There's now a loot filter. So you can say, I don't want to see common or magic items drop. I'm only interested in these types of items instead. Always show me when a blue item drop, a unique item. Always show double rares, even if I have the rare unclicked. For over here, I don't think I care about shields with her. I don't care about ranged items with her. I'll take everything that drops that has my masteries, speed, cooldown reduction. That sounds good. Now, I think when I was left off as well, I believe they had just added in voice to the game. I wasn't sure if I liked it or not either. I have disabled it currently, so I'll do the talking for the NPCs as we run around. And let's get started with that, shall we? Holy crap. Also, alright, so while I'm doing this, let's talk really quickly about how I play this game. So you should know that this was the series I used to do a lot of my talking to you viewers, just because I could, just something I did in general. Like, this is, in The Witcher 3, I'm currently talking in that game a lot about things in general, my thoughts on various things. And so this game used to be where I did all that talking. And so you should expect me to do that again. In fact, I plan to print out stuff and do lots of chatting about various things as various things occur. But I also, what I did a lot of in this game was stop and appreciate the art. I don't play, well, I guess I do now. But originally when I'm playing through this game, this was the most beautiful game I had ever been playing. I had been playing at the time. I backed this game on Kickstarter. I suppose I should mention that as well. And so, the graphics were amazing for this. Even back then, I was really, really happy with it. And so, you should expect me to stop very often and look at something and draw attention to certain things and so on, because I really appreciate all the work the people who made this game, the artists and level/map designers put into the game. They did a fantastic job on it. I'm constantly amazed at it. And now, when we left off, right, so what has happened so far in the game, in the story, is that we are trying to get to this place called Malmeth, which is supposedly filled with... Oh, actually, I think I can show you. I think I can show you what's happening. Let's go back to the town, and we'll play the cutscene. I think I can do that. Because I think that will be faster than me trying to summarize what's going on with where we currently are. So if I think I have to go back to Devil's Crossing. And I think I can talk to her. Hello, Amelia. Oh, is it not Amelia? Oh, maybe I can't do so. Creed is here? Okay, crap. I can't show the cutscene. Oh well. So let's go back to Barrowholm. So this, I think it was a capital city. Some survivors of the Empire's capital arrived in Devil's Crossing, where, wow, I'd have to explain the entire lore if it's your first time seeing this game. We'll summarize just only what's happening recently. Survivors have shown up and warned that there is absolutely terrible atrocities happening in the capital city, and that the Ethereals there are constructing amazing weapons of war, using humans as the fuel, fodder, and construction material to do this. Ethereals take human flesh and are able to mold it into various things that they wish to utilize. We'll see them having merged and melted humans into standing towers to defend their cities, for example, and stuff like that as we go on. It's absolutely nightmarish. It's amazing. I love it. Anyway, they've arrived, and we are now attempting to reach Malmeth. The survivors who came to Fort Icon, they had interrupted a member of the Resistance, us, are part of that resistance, called Inquisitor Creed, as he was attempting to open a rift into the Abyss, I believe is what it's called. Another faction. So that is the forces of Cthon, an ancient god who used to, I guess, dwell on this world, and who might have actually created humans, if I recall the lore correctly, but don't quote me on that. In any case, he'd been attempting to rip a portal open there to save a demigod called... Oh, what's his name? It was on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember. But he helped us defeat the Lagarian, a horrible creature of chaos which had been summoned into our world by this culticathon. We were able to defeat it with the help of that gentleman whose name I still can't remember. I should really remember it, but he tried to open up a rift. It did not work very well. We are now here attempting to get to Malmouth, but the way is blocked. The swamp has closed in, and it is no longer very easy, if at all possible, to take the swamp paths to Malmouth. And even if it was still possible and are open, let's show you. We'll have to kill a few things along the way. The ethereal forces have been busy terraforming the lands around the capital to their own needs. I think we've fought a few of the ethereal terraformers a long time ago, obviously now in real life time. These giant, strange-looking pillar-like creatures floating in the air. They turn everything into ether fire. The ground itself is sizzling with power and electricity. Oh, there's a bunch of you here. As you can see, this is how I play. This is how I play Diana. Basically, run backwards, drop totems, kill things as they chase me, and that's it. Everything dies. She herself, however, ooh, hello. She's rather fragile. Look at her resistances, for example. These will have to be, I will want these to be higher. And oh my god! My lightning resistance, my elemental resistances are really overloaded. I have 165% lightning resistance. I can only be affected by 80% of it because that's the maximum. But I will want to lower that and put those resistances in something else if I can. Push my button, Tim. I love the fog in this area of the swamp. It looks great. Reminds me of Grimrock 2. The Kelbreach Bog, I think is what it was called. The giant frogs in it and those horrible, horrible insects. The fast attacking, practically can't hit them, but vulnerable to magical attack bugs that were in it. Can we see outside here? No, okay. Right, so the Coven knows of a way for us to circumvent the ethers, the ether fire that the ethereals are putting everywhere, and also get around the difficulties of the swamp. However, they require some work for us first before they offer their help. A totem was stolen from them. They believe this totem was stolen. In fact, they're almost like they're 99.9% positive that it was stolen by the people living in the town of Malmouth. And they want us to go there and retrieve this totem. This totem, it worked like the Lotaeri dagger, is that what it was called, in Diablo 2? Providing the town with protection from hostile forces and magic or what have you. And so we've agreed to go and retrieve it. And up ahead, we're going to be able to see what the ethereals have been doing. Oh, or maybe not. I thought we could. There it is. Okay, we'll get a good look at this in a few seconds. Let's just clear out the enemies that are around here first. Oh, Tim, you got things behind you. Nice. Good work. Oh, still something left. Okay, and that should be everything. Let's take a look and see what the ethereals have been up to. So so you can see the ethereal terraformers floating in the distance here. There's one in the upper left-hand corner. There's one right there too. They release ether fire, burning everything down here, filling it with this strange, I don't know how to call it, electrical radiation. And I think crystals grow out of this, which will also, the crystals themselves will defend this area by launching these ethereal tendrils at you. These things themselves will also attack you if you get too close to them. And in gameplay-wise, if we were to walk on any of this, we start taking massive damage for every second that we're on it. This would be impossible for us to cross. So that is what's happening. We cannot make our way past that to Malmouth. In fact, if I bring up our world map... somehow... this is where we currently are. Here is where the ether fire stops. And we can see the capital city of Malmouth here. We have gone to Barrelhome now, and we talked to the governor / mayor, leader of the town. And it is obvious that he does have the totem. Something is wrong with the town, though. It's a bit surreal. In fact, we're going to go back to the town now and talk to the people there. Oops. Assuming, of course, I why don't you just do this, Tim? Love that picture. You'll get an impression that something is wrong with the people here. And I wasn't sure what to do. So let's say hello to a few of these folks. Look, we don't want any troublemakers around here. I have no intention of causing any trouble. Maybe. But I'll still be keeping an eye on you. You do that. Actually, let's put back on their volume, their dialogue. Not everyone will talk, but I think most do. I sense a hunger in you. You must be the shaman I've heard whisper of. Welcome to our humble village. I do hope you find it satisfactory. Tell me, do the spirits offer solace, or have they been silent? What spirits? Oh, I've just heard that shamans sometimes communicate with spirits through totemic rituals. I thought that perhaps you had experienced such a ritual for yourself and had insight. That's interesting. This is the first time I'm seeing someone react to the class that we are. What's going on with this place? Whatever do you mean? This village, how is it in such good shape? Well, stranger, we are very devoted. We work hard, and our caring leader provides us with everything we need. You mean Scorv Endenor? Yes, of course. We have, all of us, devoted ourselves to him. In return, he gives us safety and satiates our hunger. You should eat before you leave. I'd hate to see you starve to death out there in the bog. Or worse, you could end up as someone's dinner. Thank you for the warning. We picked up something to read as well, don't worry, we will take a look at that.
Watch yourself, traveler. I'm simply hungry to spill some blood. Just give me an excuse.
Alright, I'm backing off. If I do want to hear them, I'm going to need to up the volume a bit. Let's talk to Scorv again, and then I guess I'll make our decision for us.
Welcome, traveler. I hope the day finds you great fortune. Do stay for a bit if you need a rest.
Something feels off about this place.
I'm not sure what you're implying, traveler. Paranoia, perhaps? It is understandable given how things are these days.
I heard some noises from the cellar. We heard someone scream from the cellar, like absolute horrible pain.
The meat cellar. We were very fortunate to have found a cow roaming the wilderness nearby. It's a miracle she survived so long out there, or even wandered so far off from the north. What you heard was our butcher getting started on his grisly task. Nothing more.
I'm looking for the Ungenbog fetish.
And if it so happens that we have in our possession this thing you seek, why should we just hand it over? I'm afraid if you want something from us, then we are going to need something from you.
Why do you need it?
Why do you? Oh, but frankly, it comes down to reality. We live in a cruel world where many simply take what they want without any consideration for others. I see this as an opportunity for us to work together. A mutual gain.
So, I was going to work with them, but now I'm not going to, seeing this response. So, his statement where many simply take what they want without any considerations for others is exactly what they did when they took the totem. The witches needed it for their protection. The town took it for theirs. I don't have time for games. Hand over the Ungenbog fetish.
Pardon me, are you making threats? We do not take kindly to that here.
I'm taking what I want. Woo! A simple forged key. It looks much older and worn than everything else in Barrelhome.
I can't open that.
If you side with them, after you do a few quests for them, they will give you a key to open this, which will give you the fetish. It's in this. But because we decided to go hostile with them instead, we will have to kill them for the key. This is actually really interesting because this town is another faction. You can do work for them. They offer you good gear, good special potions, and things you can craft and so on. I like that. But if you don't work for them, you can kill them. And there's a boss down below, which we're going to go and fight. You can get some treasures from them that way. Now the whole town is hostile. Let's head to that cellar. And that is what the people I think really look like. Or can convert themselves into. I still love this. The sound effects of the clocks, the wallpaper. Look at the pictures on the walls, for crying out loud. Oh, that was their leader, I think. That was that Scorv? Nah, he doesn't have the comb over. Like, one of the designers put this table here, put a meat cleaver in the table, put a hacked up rat here as well, and you can tell that this person was making dinner, like they were gonna cook and eat this. It's wonderful, the amount of detail that someone stopped and put in to each building in this game. And there's an outhouse out back right where it belongs as well. I've been constantly amazed at the level of detail. Even when I was playing the game and not recording it, I still stop and zoom in and just try to... I want to soak in everything that I see because of how impressed I am with everything that they've done. Like, look at this, for example. Like, when we walked up to this, the theme, first off, you can tell this isn't a place that they visit too frequently, or rather that they might want hidden. It's out back. You can't get to it aside from going through someone's home and coming down these planks, this destroyed bridge or what have you. It's overgrown out in front. There's blood in front of the door. And when we ran up here last time exploring the town, we heard someone scream from inside. Let's see what's inside here. And we have... enemies. I still, to this day, love that scream. That one sound you hear that sounds... well, actually, I guess a lot of things sound electrical. Do you see that one? See this flash that's going around me? Actually, So, you see me using several skills. First off, there's Sky Shard. Trojan's Sky Shard? Which sends... Oh, that looks a little different. Sends these 3 meteors, basically. It's like a... In Diablo 2, there was Meteor. Actually, I think it was just called Meteor. This is like Meteor, but it's Frost. Frost and Lightning instead of just... instead of fire. I have my totem, Stone Totem, which is a pet. I place it down here. It lasts for like 12 seconds or so. Then it will vanish. It zaps anything that comes around, and it's like a chain lightning effect. I have an item, I think, that is giving me Empowered Lightning, Nova. I have this ability, which is to increase the damage I do with my physical weapon, like melee attacks, which doesn't really help me very much. But I believe that the other effects of it, Overload in particular, and Elemental Balance do help us with extra damage from Frostburn or electrical damage. Frost attacks and some electrical attacks, they do flat damage immediately upon impact, and then they have their own types of dots. Electrical being, well, one second. Electrocute being the dot for electrical damage, and Frostburn being colds or frosts of damage over time. Burn would be fire's dot. Even physical damage has a dot effect. Internal trauma. Poison does as... I'm sorry, acid does as well. I think that would be poison, for example. The last ability you hear me using occasionally is this one. That effect means that for 3 seconds, I'm immune to all damage, and if anything strikes me, they will take 1,054 points of retaliation damage. I'm sorry, they receive 270 lightning retaliation, and because I have Messenger of War assigned to it, if they hit me while this is active, there's a chance that it will proc Messengers of War, and they'll take increased damage as well. 1,054 retaliation damage. I should move that to something different now that I look at it. Where are you, Messenger of War? What else can I put you in? You know what? I'm just going to assign you that. That's much better. Because now Messenger of War... Okay, so we should describe these as well. So when I assigned this to a skill, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, everyone. You guys probably played the game a lot longer than I have now. When I assign one of these devotions to a skill, it only will happen based on the chance that the skill normally procs, in this case 20% chance, and if that skill was also active. In the case of Mirror of Erotides, I have to be hit while the skill is active to proc Messenger of War. I only use this, well actually I will use it pretty often, but it's only a 3-second window. So I think it might be worth it to put it on Excandra's Elemental Exchange instead, or at least at this moment, because that ability is always active at all times. Now, in truth, with Diane, I do not want to take any damage ever. Which is why you see me running away all the time. Ooh, get out of death. These other spells I have, you see me using Wind Devil. This is a pet. It has no life though. It has no hit points. Can't be killed. It damages an enemy, assigns them a dot over time. I think Frostburn and electrical damage, while slowing them down and reducing their elemental resistances. They last for I think 8 seconds. 12 seconds. But it is a pet, which we say it's benefiting from any the one constellation I have, the Storm Crow. This is new. This is a monster shrine. Oh, sorry, a totem. We'll click on this, and we'll get anywhere from 1 to like 4 bosses. Champion creatures that will show up, along with probably a handful of other normal creatures. And upon defeating them, not only will every single one of those creatures we defeat have dropped their orb of treasure, but we will also get a loot pinata from the totem itself. Something else which was added, which I wasn't sure, I don't think was here present when we last recorded, is this, Dangerous Domain. Certain areas in the game now have passive effects on them, which make things a little easier and more difficult for you. In this case, we can see that monsters regenerate life over time. However, they have less bleeding and poison resistance. That doesn't help us, unfortunately, because we don't do any acid or poison damage to my recollection. Alright, Spirit Totem, let's click on you. When you kill a champion creature, they will drop these orbs. You can destroy the orbs, and you'll get a loot pinata from them. +4 to Spirit Totem. I might hold on to that for a different character. You don't need Albert's other way. Empowered Mark of Anguished Lies. Empowered means that this item was a normal level item. Like the normal, I think Mark of Anguished Lies is normally level 22. Empowered means it's been leveled up to be effective at elite gameplay level. Basically gaining, I think, like 25 or 30 levels to it. There's probably a few more other things here. Let's see, physiques. We'll grab everything. Actually, I should probably just enable... Oh, that's fine. Something else in the game, which was of course here and has been here for a long time, are factions, which I don't think were in any of the Diablo games. Just like World of Warcraft or Dark Age of Camelot, I think Dark Age of Camelot did not have it. Like some MMOs do, there's faction grind in this game. You go ahead and kill certain things over and over and over again, and your faction status with things will change. Enemies will dislike you more, and the more you kill them, the tougher enemies you will begin fighting. Like, there's a chance... I've heard there's a chance that you'll eventually get, like, super special, unique bosses to hunt that will appear to hunt you down in the levels and what have you, when you're absolutely loathed by certain organizations or factions in the game. And you need a certain faction level in order to purchase some certain pieces of equipment in the game and certain crafting recipes. That right there must be Messenger of War, which activated. I'm getting some nice green rings. So something I like doing in this game is I also like clearing every single level I come to. I have also hotkeyed my potions to spacebar and my health potions to spacebar and my mana potions to the Z key. It's also why you don't see them on my hotbar at all. I've got 214 health potions and 209 mana potions, so we're not in... And because I'm playing on normal, non-veteran, this won't be difficult. I don't think this will be too difficult at all. When I began recording this with Diana, my desire was to play through the game one more time, because I had recorded this game a lot ages ago. But I want to record it one more time, read all of the lore we pick up, talk to every single person about everything that we could talk to them about, etc., and just soak in the lore of the game with you guys from beginning to end. That was what I intended to do. Hello. That might be actually really good. Alright, we'll take a look at all the loot we get later. Oh! I should get my wisp out. The wisp does nothing. It's just here. It doesn't... I thought when I backed this game on Kickstarter, I thought the wisp would actually provide light in an area. Not anything that would ruin the game or unbalance anything. But that was the main reason why I backed it at the $85, remember, Kickstarter level ages ago. Now you can buy the wisp, I believe, by... It's a form of like an extra DLC for the game. I think it's like $15, and you can unlock a pack of stuff you get. Certain types of illusions to apply to your clothes. The wisp is one of them. This follows you around and occasionally makes a little echoey sound. Okay, let's wisp move on. Yep, there it is. Thank you, wisp. Oh, look at this totem that they have right here. Oh, wow, the mound of skulls. What huge creature did they kill to get those bones or those teeth? I love the currents in this game, too. Look at the way the water splashes off the rocks. That is amazing. I see me doing that a lot. I panic, begin running away, then realize, oh wait, I have my electrode's mirror off a cooldown. I should use that and let them hit me. But by that time, instinct is taking over, and I've already began using other abilities and everything dies. You see the huge bones here, too? Wow. What the heck was this thing? Ooh, resonant. I think we'll take that. I don't need the elemental resistance, but this might be good for a different character of mine. This is a big problem with all the characters I make, is I end up finding equipment like, oh, that could be good for this character of mine, this could be good for this character of mine, and that could be good for this character. I should make a new character who will totally use like frost sights and stuff like that, and it'll be amazing. And before I know it, I've got like 80 different characters, none of them max level, but I love every. Oh my god, look at the size of that skull. Wow. None of them max level, but I love every second with them. Plus, this is a game I go to when I'm not in the mood to concentrate on anything in particular. I just want to play something while I listen to like music, or I want to listen to some debates, or people talk to one another, or some sort of dialogue or podcast or something. So this is something I put on to just relax. Get stand out of death. Very important in this game. Do not stand in the death. Keep out. If something appears under you, try to make sure you don't stand on it. Oh, that is something that also changed since last we talked, everyone. I'll show you in a second. When I first began playing through this game, these components, you would get them in anywhere from thirds to fifths. Like, we would get a 1/3 of an unholy inscription. You'd have to get the total amount, and then you would combine them. And then, upon completing it, you would get a random bonus to something. You wouldn't know what that random bonus was. It would be like extra percentage damage to your melee attacks or so on. And none of them stacked. And so, you would end up with your stash filled with components, all of which did different things. Like, you could get an unholy inscription. You would see these effects right here that we see. They'd be exactly the same, but you'd also gain something called a completion bonus. Like, you can see right here on Desolation, we'd still get a completion bonus for this one. To my knowledge, that's completely random. In this case, we get 8% damage to ethereals. All of these components would do something similar. Like, Searing Ember would give you extra fire damage, percentage fire damage, converted fire damage, I think, and then it would give you Fire Blast. But in addition, you would gain a random type of completion bonus. Some time ago, when I think the game came out of early access, they removed the completion bonuses from all the components. They thought it was just overwhelming, the amount of them, like how much inventory space people were consuming. When it came to them. But you still had to collect them in thirds, or thirds, or 1/5. Whatever the component was, there was a certain amount of them you needed to complete the component. Well, and I think just recently they changed it. And by just recently, I mean, I think this week. Or last week. Because when Forgotten Gods had come out, I remember still getting pieces of the components. So I like that change. They have rebalanced several of the crafting components now as well because of that. Like, it no longer takes one... to make certain types of equipment, you must have like 4 complete components instead of now just like 2 of them. But it's, I like the change very much. It's cleaned up a large amount of my stash has now been emptied of all these pieces of the component, and it's much easier to track now. They also added something that will automatically pick up the components now for you as an option. That was such a nice change. You can, I think it's over here, gameplay. Yep, all loot materials. So with this checked, you will automatically pick up any of these any types of items like this. You also automatically pick up anything that's, to my knowledge, purple as well. Oh, hold on, I should look at these as well. And we won't play too much longer for the first one of these. Mostly because I would like to write down a bunch of stuff to talk about with you. What else is there about this game we can talk about while we're venturing forward? I managed to find the first of those pieces of paper I had wanted to wait to read with you guys. Oh, careful, Tim. Tim, that was really lucky. Oh, God! I don't know why I ran in the corner. I don't know why I did. So, death. Death in this game, you lose some experience points. Your body will not be there, but you will have left some... Oh, I don't even know if I have... I think I have to run all the way back down there. I do. We'll have to run back down there and click on our grave. And we'll be able to retrieve some of the experience points that we lost from that death. There is a hardcore mode that you can play in this game, in which case that would have been the end for Diane.
I will devour your heart.
Sure you will, sir. Yeah, why'd I run to the corner there? I don't know. I guess because I'm not thinking. My thoughts are, or must be, this is normal mode. Nothing's gonna kill me in normal mode. That's a great way to get yourself killed. In any game of this. Oh, especially for Diane. So she does good damage. She can be rather quick. I feel pretty invincible because of Mirror of Erectodes. But if that's on cooldown, I will forget very quickly that she is rather fragile. She only has 4,853 hit points at this level, and that is on the lower side. When it comes to leveling my characters, I've always leveled every single one of them the same way. which is not probably the best way to level them. Most people who play the game would recommend that you put more points into your masteries than you do into your skills. I tend to put 1 point into mastery. Every time I level, 1 point goes into mastery, and then odds are 2 points go into a skill. It looks like Diana might be the only character that I have not done that with, because I see 32 points in Shaman and 32 points over here in Arcanist as well, or Arcanist. I like these skills, and I like improving them so that they're effective without waiting for max level. From what I've read on various forums and what I've seen suggested, or I guess there's probably videos that also explain it the same way, it's much more effective, again, for you to put lots of points in your masteries and only take a handful of skills. Or, well, actually, no, not or. Just because the stats you have will help you wear gear, which will help your survivability significantly. In Diana's case, I'm relying on my skills to do the damage I need to the creatures I'm fighting to make sure that they die, rather than needing to, rather than running around and just getting by with my stats. The boss himself is still weakened. I think they do recover some life. There you go. Nice big open area. Should have fought him down here. Ooh, look at the ghosts coming around there. That's pretty awesome looking. Cultists enslaved Wraith of Venom. That doesn't help us. Oh, it does actually, but I like my +2 to whatever that was. That one skill I have. We'll take these. Another note. We'll read that together in town. There's usually a second body here. Okay, everyone. So, what time is it? I'm playing for... Have I really been playing for almost an hour already? I can't believe... No. Feels like it, though. Alright, let's double back to town. We'll turn in this quest. We'll talk to a bunch of people there. We'll read the notes we have, and then we'll call the session. A marvelous welcome back. We've died once because of stupidity. We have gotten some treasure. We talked about the game a little bit. It's good to play the game again. Wow, I can't believe I'm actually doing it. It's fantastic. And we'll try to beat the game with Diane. So let's talk to you.
You've returned. Are you ready to complete our bargain?
Oh, not quite yet. I want to look at it first and see what the lore says on it. Ungenbog Fetish. The fetish appears to be damaged, likely by careless handling, but this is what Guardia sought.
You've returned. Are you ready to complete our bargain?
Here it is as promised.
The fates of those thieves are inconsequential to us. All that matters is that the fetish is back in our hands. Now, for our end of the deal.
What's next?
In now forgotten times, our kind used to travel to Ugdumbog in order to perform dark bindings at the altar of Ratosh. The altar has not seen use in decades, and now lies forgotten on the northern edge of the bog. However, it is a place where the veil between realities is at its thinnest.
How will this help me?
The altar of Ratosh is a rare place in Cairn where one can pierce the veil. I've marked Ulgrim's keepsake with the runes of seeking. Place it upon the altar, and a way into the void should be revealed. Whether you find your friend alive on the other side, or just his tainted bones, that I do not know. But the void may offer you more than just salvation for Ulgrim. Once it had served as a means of traversing great distances, though not always with predictable results. If the cult of Cthon had opened rifts near Malmouth, then perhaps you can use the void as a tunnel. While I cannot promise you success, it is perhaps your only chance of bringing back Ulgrim and reaching Malmouth. Seek out the altar of Ratosh in the northern reaches of Ugdumbog, beyond Barrowholm. I wish you luck.
You say that you no longer use this altar. Why?
That is a tale steeped in myths and legends. But I suppose we learned the hard way to steer clear of the dark promises of that altar. No sister dares approach it. You may not like what I offer, but I assure you, there is no other way.
I guess this is the best we've got. We get back Olgrim, that was a gentleman who helped us defeat the Lotaeri, and in doing so was sucked into the void. I don't think I mentioned that, but he himself was sucked into this rift, into the place that we're going to be going into. Maybe not the same place, because I think that other dimension is pretty vast, but maybe we'll get lucky and find him there. While we're here, let's talk to a few more people. Hey there, can I help you? What are you doing up here? I'm Garada's bodyguard. I go where she goes. You're not looking to cause any trouble, are you? Certainly not. Good, because I'd hate to sully that pretty face of yours. What can you tell me about the Coven? Well, I haven't been here long, so there isn't much I could tell you. Shortly following the Grim Dawn, I had a bad run-in with some bastards looking for easy pickings. Unfortunately for them, I didn't qualify. Unfortunately for me, there were 4 of them, and I didn't exactly make it out unscathed. Garadia found me alone and slowly dying to my injuries. She brought me here to tend to my wounds. When I was healed, she said I could stay here and train with the others. I owe her my life. I always had a penchant for violence, so I suppose my role just came naturally to me. A noble pursuit. And nobody in my life has ever shown me the kindness that Garadia has. There isn't anything I wouldn't do for her. You seem friendlier than the others I've spoken to. I don't immediately assume every stranger is an enemy, though a healthy bit of skepticism helps these days. Don't mistake my demeanor for softness, though. Touch Garadia, and you're a dead woman. Fair enough.
Now that you have what you came for, I was wondering if we could do more for one another.
Not right now. I need to adjust the volumes a little bit more.
Now that you have what you came for, I was wondering if we could do more for one another.
What did you have in mind?
Ever since the Ugdenbog fetish was stolen from us, our wards have weakened and some of our protective spells have even failed us. To put it simply, we are exposed out here, and that makes us uncomfortable. We have plans to restore our wards, but for that, we require new materials. If you are willing to assist the Coven, with compensation for your efforts, of course, we will require some more exotic ingredients. First, we require venom gaze bile from the basilisks in Ugdenbog. Only the mature ones will do, as the venom must be extra potent. Secondly, and this one may prove to be a bit of a risk, is the horn from a leaf mane alpha. Those brutes are fiercely territorial, so be careful. Lastly, we will require a rare herb known as the Ugdenbloom. You may find it growing out in the bog, but sometimes they grow atop Ugdenbog golems. Will you do this for us?
Seems simple enough. We actually can complete this quest as well, so let's go ahead and do that. They've changed quite a bit of how purple items work
Safe
as
storage.
well.
No questions asked.
They've made it so that a great many of the purple items can now be stored and shared amongst characters. Originally when I played the game, things like tainted brain matter, royal jelly, and these like ancient hearts, they could only be if the character who picked them up was the only one who could have access to them. They've changed it so that now many of these items can be stored and shared between characters. In this case, Ungden
I'll
blooms
hold on to that for you.
can be stored.
Do you have the materials we seek?
Yeah, here they are.
Perfect. These are just what we need. You continue to be a service to the Coven, for which we thank you. But though we now have the materials we require, there is a threat that not even our wards will be able to protect us from. Care to assist us?
Go on.
Deep beneath Ugdenbog, a vast network of caverns and roots traverses the entire region. We call it the Undergrowth. Centuries ago, a single seed sprouted roots within those caverns. It grew to become a massive creature known as Silvaria. She has become twisted and rotten after all these years. Her black roots spread out across the undergrowth, breaching the surface and marring the land. It is only a matter of time before she reaches the Coven. She must be pruned and new plant life be allowed to thrive within Ugdenbog. Find the entrance to the undergrowth up in Ugdenbog and deal with this threat.
In this game, unlike many of the other games I have played, if you actually kill, so often, the creatures that the quest requires you to kill, you get credit for it in advance. In this case, we don't have to go back out and kill it again. We already killed it once, so we can just tell her that we did so. I've already dealt with this aberration.
Good. Perhaps in time new plant life will sprout from her remains that brings a healthy balance to the ecosystem. Our matron, Malostria, will be pleased to hear this news. In fact, she has been inquiring about you. You should speak to her when you get an opportunity.
Where is Matron Malostria?
You will find her below us, at the center of the refuge. She is usually tending to the ritual circle we will need to restore our wards.
Thank you. Right, let's go and see her as well then. Oh, right. There's DPS stuff around here, so you can check to see how much damage you're doing and if you like those numbers.
Goradia speaks of your accomplishments as if they are meant to impress me. Tell me, young one, are you prepared to do what must be done?
Let's find out.
At least you are determined. Very well. One of our own has become tainted by the false promises of the Wendigo spirit Ravager. She has lost her way, and now weaves dark rituals within Ugdenbog. A witch as powerful as Janaxia cannot be allowed to fall to the manipulations of the Wendigo. All attempts at reasoning with her have failed. Only one option remains. Seek out Janaxia's hut, hidden underneath one of the great trees of Ugdenbog, and eliminate her.
I have already dealt with this traitor.
It appears Goradia was right about you. Here, a little gift in return.
Is there anything else?
Yes, I'm beginning to see your purpose in our coven. You will be the catalyst we require to restore our protective wards. But are you prepared for what that entails?
What must I do?
Not far from the refuge, within Ugdenbog itself, the Coven had prepared 3 ritual sites in order to focus our energies toward the focal point, the rune circle you see before me. With the destruction of the fetish, the circles have become unstable, turning into unintentional spirit traps. If we are to recreate the warding ritual our sisters used decades ago to protect this place, then we must cleanse the circles. That is where you come in. My magic will protect you against the fiends, but you will be the one to banish them forever. Are you prepared?
I'll do this in the next episode, Malostria. So you can reject the quest to my knowledge without any issues, which I've just done. Because I don't want to lose the buff, which I think will happen if I log out. So let's go ahead and read the 2 papers we picked up, and then I think we'll call it a session. So through flesh we become his chosen. We found this when we killed the large Wendigo down in the cellar of Barrowholm. I had not always relished the taste. At first, I found it repugnant. The muscle was tough and the flavor made it difficult to swallow, especially when it was raw. But Scorv insisted that to truly embrace the gifts of the Great One, we must learn to enjoy it in its natural state rather than restoring to seasonings or flame, or resorting. I was resistant, as were the others, but in time I came around to embrace the feeling of fresh blood seeping between my teeth, the iron taste of gore upon my tongue. Hunger helped that a bit, I'm sure, but now I feel chills at the thought of a fresh victim. I believe this is what Scorv meant when he said we would become closer to our master. The thrill, the energy, the change. I can feel the change. It grows inside me. It began with darkening of the eyes, like a deep crimson. Others further along in their journey have expressed concerns about bone pain throughout the body. Scorvy assures us that this was normal and will pass. Whatever changes it brings, I now anticipate them with a nervous joy. I wish only to be closer to Ravager. Oh, Lydia. Actually, that was the one we found just in the cellar itself. This was the one we found after we killed him. Injustice. That is the tale of the Great One. Injustice and betrayal. Ravager once walked among us, a beautiful creature, the embodiment of nature's balance. He thrived among his worshippers and bestowed upon them many gifts. But he was not the only one to be blessed with such power. The god of beasts grew jealous of Ravager's believers. In the darkness of the night, the god sought out Ravager's lair and, with the aid of his slaves, he banished the Great One from this realm. Bodiless and forgotten, Ravager threw himself against this spiritual prison. He sought to return to this realm and right the wrongs done to him, and through our sacrifices, the day of his judgment has nearly come. We shall become the harbingers of his will, the benefactors of his mercy. And when Ravager's jaws close shut around the throat of the betrayer, so shall we drink of his blood and rise above our lessers. I love the lore in this game. It's so dark, grimdark, but I like it. I like it. It's like there's no real good side anywhere here. Just people trying to survive and worshipping whatever god lets them do so. Alright everyone, well that'll do it. Thank you guys for watching. When we come back, I think we'll actually explore a good amount of more of the swamp around Barrowhome first before we go investigate the altar. And I'll see you guys then. Take care everyone, and thanks for watching.